With everything going on with hoarding supplies and self-isolating right now, it's hard to let your imagination wander enough to pretend we're hiding out in bunkers during an apocalypse. Or maybe that's just me, maybe that's just how I feel, but back when the Cold War and World Wars was going on, people were actually preparing hardcore for an actual doomsday, building bomb and radiation resistant shelters that were sustainable to spend months in, or even years, and most of them were far from glamorous. Well, how's it going, YouTube? I'm your host, Landon Dalton, coming at you with another brand new Most Amazing Top 10 video. So before we begin, I want to know right now in the comment section, what do you guys think you have to have in your doomsday bunker if you have to go in hiding? And make sure you guys subscribe if you're new here, because we make content for you guys every single day, like 3 times a day. Alright, let's get right into this one. This is the top 10 scary doomsday bunkers you won't believe. Kicking things off just like that, number 10, we have Wolf's Lair. Well, one of the most unsettling things about this bunker is the fact that it was home to none other than Adolf Hitler. For over 800 days during World War II, it was within these steel-enforced concrete walls where he made all sorts of sickening decisions, such as the invention of the death camps. During the time of its operation, it spanned 6.5 square kilometers and housed upwards of 2,000 people. Some of these people were even forced to eat his food to make sure that it wasn't poisoned. I couldn't find any information if anyone died in these walls, but knowing what he was capable of, I wouldn't be surprised at all. A large portion of this lair was destroyed when Germany was defeated, but it remains today as a popular tourist destination. Next up, number 9 is the Greenbrier bunker. Hidden directly beneath the popular Greenbrier resort is a bunker that was kept secret from the public for over 30 years. Honestly, I understand why it was kept in secret. If the public ever found out that the government made a bunker just for the elite and not for you, well, that would be problematic. I'd imagine you'd be pretty mad. Apparently this bunker is the size of a Walmart, has rows of 1,100 bunk beds, which would make for the most mature sleepover ever, and it has an air filtration system, and it's so powerful that it apparently feels like walking into a vacuum. The construction of this bunker was based on countless lies, telling the workers that they were making a space for a made-up company, and holding meetings for other organizations to keep up the appearance. Throughout the 30 years that it was kept secret, it had to be constantly maintained and restocked with food and medicine. It was eventually exposed in 1992. Well, if it wasn't exposed in 1992, it would probably still be a secret today. It would be the secret doomsday bunker for US government officials. But you know what? Now we know about it. We know where you're about to go, Donald Trump. And at number 8 is the bunkers of NARVIK. This series of bunkers is said to be haunted by the ghost of German soldiers named Hans. And he died in one of them after having his foot blown off during World War II. Absolutely insane. It is said to be, to this day, he still wants to take over the Norwegian town of Narvik. One traveler and author, Robin Esrock, was brave enough to venture out there with the intention of camping out in one of the bunkers. She mentioned that approaching the entrance felt like she was invading history, with the concrete tunnels and rusted barbed wire acting as a welcome mat. She even found an old spoon with a swastika engraved in it. An old couple who lived close by said that thousands of Nazis used to use the bunkers during the war, which no doubt left some bad energy in there. Esrock ultimately decided to pitch a tent, and they pitched the tent just outside of the bunker instead of sleeping inside, because she felt like there was too much of like a ghostly presence. Coming in at number 7 is a forgotten bunker in northern Germany. When a couple of guys were kids, they used to play in a section of forest that had strange pipes just sticking out of the ground. While they weren't allowed to investigate them when they were young, they decided to return as adults. I mean, this sounds a little bit like a movie. Well, they did some digging up, like literally, and they actually found a secret hatch. They found a labyrinth of corridors in varying stages of decay, many of which had graffiti on it. One of them actually translated to, "Hello, Satan, I love you." I mean, it's a little bit creepy if you ask me. One of the strangest things in there was actually a huge bank vault type door that looked as if it'd been ripped open from its hinges. I mean, what could have possibly have done that? Maybe some sort of creature. There were also discarded articles of clothing left behind for who knows how long it's been there for. After investigating further with no answers and one large mysterious machine in the middle of the room, their camera died and they decided to make their way out. Luckily, they didn't take too many turns, so they didn't get lost. So they were actually able to find the exit. Even so, something about that mysterious bunker definitely gave them the creeps. Number 6 is the KELVEDON hatch bunker. This is another one intended to house government officials, but this one is in the UK, so the British government officials. It was built secretly in 7 months during the Cold War, but it was later sold in a private auction. I mean, is this real life right now? Who is buying a bunker? The exterior is built to look like a house, to be unassuming to everyone who stumbled upon it. You won't recognize it as a bunker. Well, today, a lot of people have stumbled upon it because it's become a tourist attraction. You can visit this bunker, you can zip line in there, you can even play paintball. Like all bunkers, the interior of it begins with a long, dark hallway. Because it's a tourist spot now, it isn't quite as suspended in time as the other bunkers on this list, but rooms full of detailed plans on how to survive in nuclear Armageddon make sure that the terrifying original use for the bunker is unknown. Everything that was original still remains for the most part, and the things that have remained, I'm talking about the confidential papers thrown around as it was left behind in a rush. Judging by the pictures, it doesn't seem as if this was abandoned intentionally or calmly. Mannequins were dressed in old gas masks, and others positioned with badges over their eyes as if they had stared directly into the blast. Add to the unsettling vibe of the place, people who visit say that it does an amazing job of showing how depressing it was to live in a bunker, waiting for the inevitable of time or even food to run out. I wonder if back then if they were so worried about toilet paper. Meeting us at the halfway point is the Cheyenne mountain complex. Honestly, the scariness of this bunker begins before you even enter the massive mountain in which exists. At the gates, they have a TV playing, Fox News? Oh, and guards who say that they will kill you if necessary to protect the bunker. I mean, cool. Well, according to the guards who spend long hours there, apparently the only thing that you get used to, you know, knowing of the outside is what you see on TV. Okay, there are 2 massive doors ready to shut out any potential outside threats, rooms filled with bunk beds, and there's also ready to eat non-perishable meals. There's even a workout room that's ready to convert into a hospital whenever necessary. Our number 4 slot belongs to Mount Weather. These 600,000 square foot of underground facilities have their own police force, firefighters, and laws. It's a whole city on its own. I kind of want to know what sort of laws a massive underground bunker could have. Are they similar to ours, or are they completely different? It even has its own hospital, a crematorium, and can sleep up to 2,000 people. I mean, can you imagine having to live in a mountain and know that whenever someone dies, they're just cremated, you know, not too far from you, maybe in the room next door? Like, where does the smell even go? If the airflow was designed in a way as to not let any radiation in, I can't imagine there's much room to let smell out. Next up, number 3 is actually in our very own city, in Toronto, Canada. As it turns out, there's a mysterious bunker that no one knows the origins of. And I didn't even know until doing the research for this video. It was found 5 years ago close to York University. It isn't big by any means, measuring only 1 meter by 10 meters, but the mystery behind it makes it all more spooky. Police are even impressed with the structural integrity of it, which means that it wasn't made by an amateur. Inside there was even waterproof lights, noise cancelling foam, a pump to get rid of water, and an air compressor. Whoever built this, they must have had somewhat long-term plans for it if they were willing to invest that much money. There was even a rosary and a Remembrance Day poppy in there. I mean, who leaves personal items somewhere that they're just planning on abandoning? Police claim that they don't expect anything criminal, but I'm not sure if I'm convinced. Number 2 is the DRAKELOW tunnels. And no, this isn't the tunnels that Drake owns. Well, maybe, I don't know. There are a top secret military bomb shelter completed in the 40s. You can still find old phones and computers that were left there after the shelter was decommissioned. Old papers and other artifacts of the time, well, they're littering the ground and falling out of decaying cupboards, almost as if they're abandoned in a rush. It even attracts the attention of paranormal groups and ghost hunters, which makes my imagination go crazy, which some sort of stuff that might have happened there. Also, apparently technology goes crazy down there, generally misbehaving or dying, which if you've seen some of our paranormal themed videos on this channel, you know that usually means that there are ghosts. Finally, number 1, we have North Carolina's bomb shelter. This was a shelter found under somebody's home in North Carolina, I kid you not. Imagine finding out that under your house was a secret bunker. Well, apparently this was hand dug almost 70 years ago to hide from an atomic bomb. The tunnels go 30 feet underground, and apparently you can find children's shoes, strange photos, you can find super old mayonnaise, and the darkest darkness you've ever experienced. The previous owner of the house said that she enjoyed having the tunnels there, but I feel like if I discovered an old bomb shelter under my house, it'd be pretty unsettling, and it's time to sell. But don't tell people about it, unless that brings the value up. Then I'll do it. Well, there you guys have it. That was the top 10 scary doomsday bunkers you won't believe. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was your host, Landon Dowsing, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video.